Thank you. I'd now like to recognize the chairman of the full committee, my friend from Michigan, Chairman Walberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for having a great panel here today. And panel, thank you for being here. It's great to have a panel that is an actual showcase of what happens when you focus on accountability and responsibility for outcome, as opposed to just throwing money at it, as we've done for the past number of years, with more government loans, which has exacerbated the cost of college education because there's no limit to what the government can give. The private sector will hold accountable. And so to see states that are focusing on accountability and responsibility for outcome, thank you for having them here, and it's good to see your state represented well from Utah as well as from Florida. Dr. Akers, what do you say to the people who often say, a lot of whining going on out there, even before the One Big Beautiful Bill is in action fully for how we're dealing with student loan issues? But the people who are concerned that graduate student loan limits will impede college access.
Graduate student loan limits are critically important to ensure that people are not continuing to take on amounts of debt that are unaffordable based on what they're likely to earn in the future. There's a lot of concern about different programs, whether professional, graduate degree programs have eligibility for different loan limits. It's really important to rewind and come back to the point that the limits on graduate and professional loans altogether, the objective is to make sure that people are not able to borrow more than is going to be affordable for them to pay in the future. Yes, giving people piles of money with unlimited access to credit will create more access, but the question is access to what? I think it's critically important that we're ensuring access to high-quality programs, to programs that can deliver an economic return that's on par with the amount that people are able to borrow.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. Mr. Landward, good to see you here today. Miss seeing you in Utah, in Salt Lake City at the great roundtable that our chairman had out there, but you were well represented, and thank you for that. We've heard concerns that reforms in the working families tax cuts threaten college access. But don't skyrocketing college costs also make college unattainable for many students?
Thank you for the question. The answer is yes. Ultimately, in the Utah system of higher education and as prioritized by the state legislature, affordability is one of the key priorities that we have. It's no secret, any study about college-going rates and even college retention, the cost of going to college and staying in college is one of the primary barriers to access and to completion. And we simply have to recognize that as a system of higher education, we have an obligation to the students who enroll in our institutions to ensure that they are affordable. And so when we look at whatever reforms are coming either from the federal government or at a state level, the intent here is that we want students to go, and we want them to stay, and we want them to graduate. And we'd like them to graduate in a way where they actually have a return on that investment, meaning they're going to earn more than what they had to put in. The data shows that if they can get degrees that have that kind of return, it is so worth the investment that they're making. And so we have to make sure that we're removing all of those barriers to affordability.
Yeah, and it encourages them for continuing education in the future as they develop beyond the job that they're in as they start. So thank you. Mr. Rodrigues, boy, it's exciting to hear that a student in Florida, many students at least, can work during the summer and pay for their school bill. Kind of harkens back to my days of maybe working 2-3 jobs in the summer, but still paying for my education. How did Florida address administrative bloat while holding institutions of higher education to high standards of operational efficiency?
That's a great question. What we've seen over the last 4 decades is that the growth of administration has averaged around 3.9% annually. In Florida, we require each university, when they submit their legislative budget request, which is what they give the legislatures asking for appropriations, to include on that request their number of administrators, FTE equivalent, and their 5-year trend. So they know when they go to the legislature to ask for funding, that legislature has that top of mind when they're considering that appropriation request. What we have found is over the last 10 years, our appropriations have grown a total of 2% in administration. I'm sorry, our administration has grown a total of 2% over the last 10 years.
Wow, wow. Mr. Chairman, could I, without objection, enter into the hearing record a report from the American Enterprise Institute, the Education Council, and the Century Foundation, which recommends, and I quote, reasonable loan limits. That's exactly what we did in the Working Families Tax Cuts.
With no objections.